have had a mystery on our hands this week. The scholars in this room are the crew of the mighty ship, the Envisioneer. While in search of an ancient treasure, we were marooned on an island. A key part of our navigational map went missing. Missing. Of the entire crew, we consider 4 suspects. Today, we had the evidence collected against Dr. Smart and Shipwright Neff.
The debris from the big storm left many people injured. Dr. Smart needs help left on the ship with many injured passengers. To help these injured passengers, Dr. Smart asked us to help them. We had extra sprints and slings on the ship.
Hello, today I'm going to be showing you how to wrap your arm with a character. Okay. So first you're going to take out your stretcher or bandage or whatever you're using, and you're going to fold it in half. Make sure it's at the center of your paper, and then you're going to get the patient's arm and make sure his or her elbow is in the crevice right where you want it, and then you're going to bend it down like this, and then when you're done you're going to bend the paper so it's like right at your wrist. You're going to do that for the top and the bottom part, so make sure it's secure. Make sure you keep that elbow in the crevice. Then we're going to take this off. Make sure you still keep it elevated if your arm is broken, and we're going to kind of not mess with it, mold it into a real size arm, because a real size arm is not completely straight. So you're gonna put it back on, make sure your arm is in the crevice, and then next you're going to take your bandage and you're going to wrap this around. Make sure that it is really tight. There should be no space in between it, and this is gonna wrap around. Make sure there's no space. So if you have a crevice or something, it shouldn't be tight at all. So look, there's no space here for any germs or anything we get in for. And you're gonna just keep wrapping it around your arm like so. Make sure you keep your arm in there so we know that it's right. And you're gonna keep wrapping it around, and then once you know your arm is in there, you want to just stick this. You can just stick it right here if you want to. Anywhere you find is good, and that's how you do it. You have your triangle now. You should cut it into a piece of fabric. If you don't, then you should cut it into a triangular piece. You're gonna just scoop up her elbow in a little crevice and wrap it around. Make sure the knot is nice and tight. You want to stay secure right there, and that's how you do it. You want to make sure her arm is supported.
We are going to talk about a lung and modeled lung. First, we built a lung to show, but we are going to tell you an example of a collapsed lung. Dr. S looked at the patient. Her lung collapsed. The doctor said she did not need surgery, but she had bad symptoms such as shortness of breath, wheezing, and a super fast heart rate. Dr. S said she needed treatment. That's why we are presenting a modeled lung.
When we did the model lung, we built the lung to look like one of the lungs in the human body. To pump air into the lung, you place your finger at the bottom of the cup where the stretched balloon is. You then push. The balloon should start to fill up. When you do the same thing but the lung is cut, it will not work, similar to how people have shortness of breath when their lung is collapsed. Push the middle of the lung. It will start to inflate, and it kind of looks like it's breathing out and in, like your lung probably does inside your body.
After the shipwreck, some of the crew members went missing on the island. Part of the island humans are inaccessible to because of the snakes and rocky terrain. We built robots to save our comrades.
We built a robot called MBot. You code it by using the MBlocky app. You can program it to move, make sounds, repeat, light up, and more. You need to do training first before actually getting around the island. Once your training is done, you can start on your mission to save the missing Envisioneers.
So, the truss bridge for the robot, there was a storm, it was flooding, so the robot couldn't get across. Without a bridge, the materials you had to use was straws and paper clips.
When Dr. Smart looked at the crew members after they finished working, they was extra tired and ran out of breath. Dr. Smart knew that it was related to the heart and need help to treat the crew.
All the dirty blood from the head goes down to the vena cava. All the vena cava from the head and from the body go up to the right
Atrium.
And when the right atrium all fills up with the dirty blood, it goes down to the right ventricle. After it goes to the right ventricle, it goes up to the pulmonary artery, and then it goes to the lungs that cleans all the blood to the CO2 that goes down and the O2 that goes up. And then after that, it goes to the pulmonary veins, where it comes back into the heart and then to the left atrium. After it goes there, then it goes down to the left ventricle. After it goes there, it goes up to your body, to the aorta, to the head, and down to the body.
Neff and Young were going to the ship, and Young got bit by a snake. After that, Young said that she was kidnapped, but Dr. Smart said she was lying. He said that he was delusional because she was bit by a neurotoxic snake. We found out he was lying. She was actually bit by a hemotoxic snake.
We did milk and lime to figure out what poison does to your body. Milk equals blood, lime equals poison. When we mix the poison into the blood gets chunky and thick. Young was bitten by a hemotoxic snake because the snake causes immediate pain, swelling, bleeding, and tissue damage. There is an anti-venom for the bite.
Everyone on the ship was cold. Young had a gash on her neck. Neff had a cut on the side of his head. When the captain spoke to Poddle, he had blood on his knee. Smart had a cut on his hand. I measured blood drops because on the day the captain woke up, he saw blood splatter in his cabin. from doing blood drop tests, we can see whose blood it is. So I dropped blood from 12, 30, and 66 inches and measured the diameter of the best 3 blood drops from each height, and they were 11.1, 14.2, and 16.5 millimeters. So then we measured the blood from the crime scene to see whose blood it was.
Dr. Smart woke up and saw white powder on the floor. We needed to know what the white powder was. There were 4 powders on the ship. The 4 powders were called powder sugar, baking soda, cornstarch, and cream of tartar.
I will tell you the pH and the reactions to liquid. The pH of the cornstarch is the same as the mystery powder, which was 7 pH, which means it is safe for Neff. The reaction to the vinegar to both powders are the same. They cream. Both powders turned sticky and hard, but only the mystery powder turned dark when exposed to iodine. When reacting to water, the mystery powder turned hard and slushy, but the cornstarch had the water slip and slide.
When the captain woke up, he saw an overturned cup, so we had to investigate, but the ship only had cocoa powder, not fingerprint powder, so we improvised and used cocoa powder for replacement as fingerprint powder to put the powder on the fingerprints on the cup.
So first you put the cocoa powder on the cup. Then you dab it with the brush. Then you hit it against the thing. Put tape on it, take the tape off, and then you have your fingerprints. We investigated cocoa powder and demolished lifting fingerprints. The fingerprints that we saw compare it to the suspect. Rocket Neff didn't do it because his fingerprints was whorls instead of loops like the fingerprint on the cup. Howard Potter did not do it because his fingerprints was loops, but his loops on the finger was too high. Cindy Young didn't do it because her loops was too low on her finger. Dr. Nicholas Smart did it because he had the exact